Hey, welcome to another MCrider Q&A video session. These are one of the videos where I answer your questions that you leave in the comments on the YouTube channel. This first question comes in from Francisco. He's asked a question in the video, how far can you lean before you lose traction? That's an older video, but still getting a lot of traffic. Francisco asked, doesn't it change depending on tires? Well, yes, a lot of it is dependent on tires, not only the type of tire, but the condition of the tire, whether it's properly inflated or not. There are different compounds of tires. Some are more sticky than others. But here's a tip for you. A lot of people think, man, I'm just going to get racing tires because racing tires are the slickest tires you can get or the stickiest tires you can get. The problem with that is tires are created to maximum effectiveness depending on the temperature of the tire. And a racing tire is developed so that the rider's riding, at really high speeds. They're building up a lot of heat in that tire, and you've got to build up heat in that tire for it to have maximum stickiness. That's why you see tire warmers on race bikes, because they got to keep that tire warm before they get out there so that the tire has maximum traction. So you're actually hurting yourself if you have a true race tire on there, because you're never going to ride fast enough, or you couldn't legally ride fast enough on the street to get that tire up to temperature. And plus, a tire only has so many heat cycles in it. So what a heat cycle is, I get on it, say I'm on the track with a racing tire. I get out and I race for 20 minutes. I build up temperature. I pull back in, that tire cools down. That's one heat cycle. Race tires have very limited number of heat cycles before that tire begins to really degrade. That's another reason why you see tire warmers on race bikes, is because on a track day they can reduce the number of heat cycles that tire goes through by keeping it warm. So you have a limited number of heat cycles in that race tire, and it's going to wear out, or it's going to degrade a whole lot quicker than a motorcycle tire that's designed for the street. But that being said, there are different tires for different bikes. You'll have to do some research to find out what you want, that have different compounds. Sometimes they have a center compound that is a little bit harder rubber to give you longer wear, and then the tire is softer on the outside, so when you're leaned over, it's going to give you more traction through the corners. So there's tons of variables in motorcycle tires. You'll just have to do some research for your particular motorcycle and then research the particular tire to find out what meets your need. Warning, this is a test of the emergency broadcast system. This is only a test. This is only a BB gun. It is not an actual emergency situation. I repeat, this is only a BB gun that shoots small BBs with air pressure. I did not realize it was there until after I shot the video, and by shot, I mean in a video sense, not in a firearm sense. Again, this was only a test. We now resume our regular broadcast. So this next question comes from Mihai. They ask, experience versus training, on the video, experience versus training, which develops the better rider? They said, hey, you said in the introduction about gravel in a corner, but what can you do about this? Gravel in a corner can be a tricky situation. The first thing that you can do, though, is make sure you're looking through that corner. So whenever I approach a corner, you want to look where you want the motorcycle to go. But on the street, the distance between, or the pavement between here and where I want the motorcycle to go, may not always be clear. So you want to look through the corner. So I'm going to look up, I'm going to scan that road, I'm going to look through that corner, and I'm going to look for gravel, or I'm going to look for objects in the road as I'm looking through that corner. And then once I know it's clear and I've got my head and eyes pointed where I want the motorcycle to go, I can be more assured that I don't have gravel in that corner. So our video that I just did this past week, you want to be able to ride at a speed so that you can stop in the distance that you can see clearly up the road. So if you've got gravel mid-corner, you want to be riding at a speed so that if gravel is there, you can get that motorcycle to a stop by the time you can see it. If you can't see it because of obstruction in the road And by the time you do see it, it's too late to do anything about the gravel. You need to check your entry speed or your cornering speed because it was probably too fast for that corner. But, you know, things happen. Sometimes you go into a corner, you know, your head and eyes are a little bit lazy and you run into a corner that's got some gravel. The best advice I've got for you, if you find yourself in that situation, you're leaned over, there's some gravel, you want to straighten the motorcycle up as much as possible. So you want to go over that gravel as straight as possible, not leaned over. And then the next thing you don't want to do is be heavy on the brakes or on the throttle as you're going over that gravel. So what I would typically do if I'm leaned over, I see the gravel, I'm going to straighten the motorcycle up as much as I can. I'm going to squeeze the clutch in and I'm going to let the motorcycle just coast over that loose area. Now, granted, you're in a corner, so you may have to turn really sharp after that in order to, you know, finish or complete the corner without running wide or running over into the other lane. But you want the motorcycle straight up and down, and you want it as much in balance as possible. So not heavy on the throttle, not heavy on the brakes. Just allow the motorcycle to go over the gravel and correct itself through that. And then you want to finish the turn from that point forward. So this next question comes from Mock Wheels. This is in relation to my video, 3 tips for stopping a motorcycle in better balance. He says, can you discuss when you're stopping, are you still in the friction zone right till the end of the rear brake, or is the clutch all the way in? Well, what the MSF teaches is you squeeze the clutch in, you downshift through the gears as you're slowing down. I'm maintaining that clutch squeezed in, but I'm going to downshift so that I'm matching the gear for the proper gear for the road speed. So I know on my bike, you know, if I get down to 20 miles an hour, I typically want to be in second gear. Lower than that, I'm going to go down into first gear, but I'm going to keep that clutch squeezed in the entire time. So in this video, I talked about stopping a motorcycle in better balance. So you're going to use the front and rear brake to initially stop the motorcycle. You're going to finish the stop using the rear brake, and that's going to allow the motorcycle to stop in much better balance. I want you to try this, you know, get out on the road and practice this. The last 5 miles per hour, 5 to 10 miles per hour, use the rear brake only to stop the motorcycle, and you'll stop in a whole lot more balance. You'll find that the motorcycle is in a lot better balance when you do this, but you want to initially stop with the front and rear brake. You don't want to develop the habit of only using the rear brake, because then you're going to lose most of your stopping power out on the street when you need to stop in an emergency. So you initiate the stop using the front and rear brake. You can finish the stop with just the rear brake, and that's going to help the motorcycle be in much more balance. But the MSF teaches, and this is what I do in practice, I squeeze in the clutch. I'm downshifting through the gears as the motorcycle slows down, so that if I need to take off, I'm in the proper gear, I can release the clutch, I'm back on the throttle, I'm ready to go. So I hope these extra videos have been helpful. They've been pretty successful on the channel. You guys, if you have questions, leave a question in the comment and I'll get to it in a future video. If it's something that, you know, we can discuss and it's going to help the community as a whole. So I appreciate you watching this weekend. If you haven't done so, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. You'll get a notification when the video comes out. Man, sometimes 60–70% of the people that watch these videos are not subscribed. That's a free thing that you can do that will really help this channel out. Hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification. It will help promote this video across YouTube, and it tells YouTube that people are interested in this topic and this type of conversation. So hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon, help me out, doesn't cost you a penny. Till next week, guys, it's Kevin with MCrider, and I'll see you on the road.